Hello everyone, welcome to my channel again. It's another snowy day in Munich. Yeah, so the temperature is not that low, but today it is snowing. Actually, not just today, it's been snowing for the last 2 or 3 days. So today I am going to Landshut again. I just stopped here for a coffee. It's quite early in the morning for a Saturday. It's a Saturday. It's 9:30. Yeah, but there is no coffee here, so I will have to find coffee somewhere else along the way to Landshut. But how do we go to Landshut? Let's try to figure that out. Yes, so I don't want to drive through the autobahn. Yes, so that means that should not take this way. So this is the, yeah, so this, I'll figure it out. But yeah, so what today's video is about, it's just about some updates, what's going on. And I talked about my next car. I've been watching the developments in the EV space in terms of price and features, so I'll try to summarize those things and also what cars I'm considering. I talked about four-wheel drive units, or cars with four-wheel drives, what options I have, and etc. etc. Yeah, so let's try to find some coffee and head towards Landshut. Yeah, so Landshut is about 70 kilometers from here. Aha, I found a bakery, so hopefully there is coffee there. So I will get coffee and I will show you this feature. So keep climate on. So this is amazing in Teslas, because not all the electric cars would offer you this feature. So you go out of the car and the climate control is switched off automatically. In all cars, including the gasoline cars, but here you can just say keep it on, so that you come back and you don't have to actually do the whole thing like warming up a cold car. Yeah, so this is amazing. Anyway, so I will get a coffee now. I am in Landshut, and no, I am not switching to a Porsche 911. I am just at a Porsche dealer. I'm charging up in Landshut. Yeah, let me show you this thing. So I'm getting 52 kilowatts because I didn't really precondition the battery. It's just driving around and spontaneously actually decided to come here. Yeah, so the speed is not that great. I'm at 37%, but let me show you these chargers. Yeah, it's a really cool location. Yeah, okay, so these are the Porsche chargers. There are actually some of them in Germany. Sometimes you see them. It's not really part of the Unity network, but Porsche has its own network, and it's sort of like a luxury kind of network where you have sitting places and coffee and stuff like that. But yeah, so these are the chargers. I like the looks of these chargers. They look really cool, and it's supposed to be like 350 kilowatts, these chargers, but like I said, I'm not getting good speeds right now. 45 kilowatts. Yeah, so this is a Porsche dealer. Yeah, okay, so let's just for fun have a look at the prices of the second-hand 911 cars. Yeah, so this one, it is 184,000 euro second-hand. It's from 2021. Yeah, and it has 9,000 kilometers, 9,900 kilometers on the clock. 450 horsepower. Yeah. So, yeah. So would you, for 450 horsepower and this level of performance, spend 184,000 euro, basically close to 200,000 euro? Yeah, I don't know. Porsche 911 Carrera 4S Cabriolet. Yeah, maybe the brand has some prestige, but 450 horsepower, close to 200,000 euro. Don't know. Yeah. Hello again. I just had my lunch at this place called Ergoldinge Stuben. Yeah, so they have really delicious food and beer. Of course, I didn't drink a beer because I'm driving. But if you're ever in Landshut, this is a good place to have lunch. So it's actually the office of the local football club, and they also have good beer and good food, local food. Yeah. So the temperature is a little bit higher now, 2 degrees Celsius, and there is less snow and less wind. So what is the plan now? I will try to go towards the city, towards the main city, and then maybe charge up a little bit more, and then do some shopping, and then go back to Munich. Yeah, that's the plan. I am charging at a supermarket. I'm at 78%. I decided to charge here because they have really good prices for electricity here. It is 39 cents per kilowatt hour, and you have to pay with your bank card or your credit card, then you get this price. Yes, so I have been charging for, I guess, 20 minutes or something like that. The speed is not really good. It is a 175 kilowatt charger, but yeah, my battery is cold. Anyway, so I will do some charging anyway, and I will do some shopping, I mean, and let the car charge up to 100%. Yeah, so while the car is charging, let me talk about what I'm considering as my next car. Okay, so the next car. So first, let me just talk about the criteria that I'm using to select my next car. So first of all, I want to move to a little bit higher car, so I'm gonna buy an SUV. And one of the main criteria that I have is good safety. So it has to have a very good NCAP rating. And of course, the other thing is that if it is all-wheel drive, then it's much better, because I'm gonna move outside Munich at some point, and yeah, so there will be snow, there will be traction issues if it is not an all-wheel drive car. So I want to move towards an all-wheel drive car. And of course, the quality of the interior, it is quite important, and good space and practicality, yes, and of course good reliability. Yeah, so these are the main criteria that I'm using. The cars that I'm considering so far would be the Volvo XC40 extended range. That would be one of the main contenders, and it's the new extended range, just to be clear. So I think they have a really good range right now. So the previous version was inefficient, and now this year they actually improved the drive unit, released the car with a bigger battery, and you can get it for rear wheel drive and all-wheel drive both. So if you need the range, you get with the rear wheel drive, and yeah, of course the all-wheel drive is available. So yeah, it is also with a very good interior. And the other one is obviously ID.4 that I already mentioned. Yeah, so I will talk about ID.4 more today. But in general, ID.4 has a very good pricing in Germany for the all-wheel drive version, actually for all the versions. And yeah, it's a dedicated EV platform, unlike the Volvo XC40. And of course, the next one would be Model Y. Of course, obviously, this is probably the easiest option to just trade this car in and get a Model Y. It has a long range version and a standard range version in Germany. So the long range version is always all-wheel drive. So that's the other contender. And then I talked about Smart #1 in one of the previous videos. Yeah, so they have also all-wheel drive version, which also has a good pricing here in Germany, but I haven't driven that car yet, so that's one of the things. And then there is the upcoming ID.3X. So there is no details available for ID.3X yet, so we have to see what it is like. Then we can decide. And then of course, obviously, Hyundai Ioniq 5. So these are the cars that I'm considering. Ioniq 5 has a very good price for the rear-wheel drive car, but for the all-wheel drive it is not very good pricing in Germany. And I think recently they increased the price even more. So so what I'm gonna do is talk about each of these candidates in some of the future videos, but today let's talk about ID.4. So why ID.4? So basically ID.4 has a very good price point in Germany. So for the all-wheel drive, it starts from 49,000 euros, which is just 2,000 euro. Oh, not even 2,000, so 1,600 euro more than the rear-wheel drive version. Yeah, so that's one of the main reasons. So so very good price, and the interior quality is actually quite good compared to a Tesla. Obviously, Tesla's interior is very simplistic, very minimalistic, but ID.4's interior is a little bit more like more, how do I say it without offending anybody, a little bit more conventional and yeah, probably better material qualities. Yeah, so in general I like the interior of ID.4. So some issues with those buttons and stuff like that, but they're going to be fixed in the next version, which is, by the way, coming for ID.3 in 2 months, I guess. They're unveiling the new refresh, and after the ID.3 it will be the ID.4 refresh. And so yeah, so those things would be fixed, namely the haptic buttons and the touch buttons and those window opener buttons and stuff like that. So there are lots of complaints about them, and I don't have any issue with the steering wheel touch button, but I have some issues with the electronic window button, because they have only 2 for front and rear. So they're going to be fixed. That they're not really a problem. And the other thing is that it has a very good range. It is quite efficient. It is almost as efficient as the Tesla Model Y. I drove the car and it drives also very well. The suspension is perfect for me. The steering is also perfect. The car feels very stable, so the driving dynamics is very good in that car. What else? And you get also some offers with the Ionity charging network, so very low charging costs for fast charging, and good space compared to this car, compared to Model Y. Probably not more than Model Y, but compared to Model 3, the space is very good, and the size of the car is perfect for the German roads, especially the country roads. Model Y is a little bit too big. Actually, even Model 3 is a little bit too big and too wide for German roads. So I will draw comparisons to the Model Y car because I own a Tesla, and Model 3 and Model Y, they're almost the same cars. So yeah, so the comparison point is Model Y. Yeah, so other things that are important for me and that I can find in ID.4 would be the panoramic roof with a cover that you can slide with a switch, with a button. And yeah, in Tesla, in Model Y, you don't have that. You have just this panoramic roof, which gets very, very uncomfortable in the summer when it's very sunny. So for Tesla, you have to buy a flimsy cover and then manually put it there. So I think ID.4 has a much more proper solution for that. Yeah, so panoramic roof with a shade, that is very good in ID.4. And I love the massage seats. Yes, Tesla doesn't have a massage seat, so yeah, ID.4 is ahead there. Product consistency, this is a big one. What can I say? So I'm not very happy with what is happening in terms of the features in Tesla these days. So for example, I just recently discovered on the Autobahn, while I'm putting the autopilot on, that my autopilot maximum speed has been reduced, and there is no notification from Tesla. There is no communication from Tesla. This is just a terrible way of dealing with customers, and this is quite messy. And I did not buy this product. I bought a product which has a 150 kilometers per hour autopilot maximum speed, and now it has been reduced. So yeah, I don't know what to say. So Tesla is changing the products that they have sold to the customers, and the customers are not notified. So I don't know. This does not happen with I mean, in general, it doesn't happen in Germany because there are many legal issues with that. So if you sell a product to a customer, you have to keep the product like what you sold, unless the customer has agreed to it. So yeah, so that's a big issue for me with Teslas these days. I'm not really happy with the way they're handling all these kind of new software features. And also, like, in terms of the interface, it has changed drastically over the years, and yeah, of course these are new things, but at least there should be some sort of explanations. And some of the things went away and then they brought them back, and when you release them in the beginning, it's so many bugs, so many problems, and then these things are refined over time, and then the old features that they remove, they bring them back, like trip meter and stuff like that. So that's not a nice way of dealing with customers, right? So if you want to remove some features, try to figure out whether this feature is actually important for the customers, right? And then then try to find a way to phase it out more smoothly. Yeah, right, because we are driving the cars, right? While we are driving the car on the highway, it is not safe for me to figure out that, oh, okay, my car cannot go faster. I just changed the lane, but it's not going faster with autopilot, right? To give you an example. So it's a terrible way. I'm sorry to say, Tesla. It is a terrible way to deal with customers, right? So yeah, so I don't want to deal with these kind of issues, right? So therefore I would now consider other cars. strongly consider other cars actually, because I don't see this changing in Tesla. It's actually becoming worse and worse. But with Volkswagen, it's improving. So let's see what happens in the next year or so. So I have a little bit of time in terms of deciding and in terms of switching my car. Yeah, so to summarize, product consistency, right? Whatever is sold to the customer, it needs to be at least there. So that is a major issue for me right now, and I'm strongly considering actually changing Tesla. Switching from Tesla, I mean. The other thing, tow hook. So with the Model Y, you would get a tow hook, yeah, of course. But the problem is that the assembling of the tow hook is very, very messy. So I guess it's the American way of dealing with tow hooks. But in Europe, we have these automatic tow hooks, yeah, for quite a long time. So it's nothing new. And yeah, Tesla still is delivering their cars with this manual thing that is very messy to actually plug in. So with the ID.3 and not with ID.3, I'm sorry, with ID.4, you get a switch. You just press it and it just comes out, and then to put it back, you just press the switch again, and then you have to kick it just lightly. Yeah, so that's a much more easier solution rather than, you know, every time installing your tow hook. And the towing capacity for Volkswagen ID.4 is also quite good. For the all-wheel version, it is, if I remember correctly, 1,600, right? 1,600 kilograms, which is fine for me. With Tesla, you might get a little bit more, but yeah, I don't need more. I'm gonna buy a trailer. Yeah, not a trailer, a camper, basically. I'm gonna buy a camper which would not be more than 1,200 kilograms. So with ID.4, you get yeah, you get this kind of tow hooks, automatic tow hooks, electronic tow hooks, I should say. Yeah. And dealer network, yeah, that's another one, Tesla. Yeah, so dealer network, you cannot talk to anybody in Tesla. At least when I bought the car, it was so messy. There is no phone number. I'm a customer, right? So you need to behave well with me. So I'm giving you lots of money, yeah, so I'm not gonna give you money if you don't behave well with me, yeah, right? So that's just the basic of doing business. So the problem was that it was impossible to find anybody to talk to about the problems in the car. So there were lots of problems in the beginning with regards to my order, and there was nobody I could call. Nobody was picking up. There was one number, and I was calling so many times, nobody picked up. Nobody actually bothered to call me back. So I had to actually physically go to one of the Tesla showrooms and tell them about my problems, because they were not processing my order. And not so sure why they were not processing my order, but it was just like that. And I had to go to one of those Tesla showrooms and tell them that this is what is happening, and my lease of the previous car was expiring. And I was in a situation that I would not have a car for some time because they were not processing my request. So what that guy did is that guy found some contacts within Tesla who actually then took my order and then processed it. So these are the kind of things that you have to deal with when you are dealing with Tesla, right? So there is no nice way of dealing with customers for them. I don't know if there is a sentiment that they should deal with customers in a better way. So yeah, and also with regards to service, so I wanted to clean my brakes before putting my winter tires on this time, and Tesla is quoting a fortune to clean up brakes. That's not really acceptable prices in the Tesla service, like 2 times or 3 times more than what you would pay to clean the brakes. So I did it from another place. So yeah, so that's not really acceptable in terms of pricing when they're doing the services. So what you get with Volkswagen in Germany, at least, is a very good dealer network. And the best thing about this dealer network is that you actually have some salespeople there who actually know how to deal with customers, and they behave very well with you, obviously, because they're selling a product which costs I don't know, lots of money. So I guess it's well deserved for the customers to be treated well, right? So this is one of the things. And the other thing is that since there is a very good dealer network, there is also servicing in all these dealers. So excellent servicing and very reasonable prices. Like for Volkswagen cars, what you get is that when you buy the car, you actually have some service packages. You can also spec the car with those service packages. So it's all very well defined, and people are doing it for many years, you know. So from that point of view, it's very good. The other thing when it comes to costs is cheaper insurances. At least in Germany, it makes sense to actually for new cars to have the full insurance. And for Teslas, for my Model 3, it's quite expensive actually to have the complete coverage. I also checked ID.3 and ID.4 comprehensive insurance prices, and it is between 20 to 30% less than what a Tesla Model Y or Model 3 would cost. So yeah, I'm heavily leaning towards, as you can imagine, Volkswagen. Tesla is good. Thank you, Tesla, for making electric cars popular, but you have to deal with your customers better. Okay, so let's talk about negatives. Negatives of ID.4. So this video was supposed to be about ID.4, but it somehow turned into what are the bad things about Tesla cars or Tesla as a company. So anyway, so let's focus on ID.4. So the negative things about ID.4. Of course, the software is not the best. It is actually quite buggy, very slow, and over the last 3 years, they have tried to improve it. In Germany right now, with the new release, I think it's called 3.2 version. Actually, it's reasonable. They are understanding how an electric car should be used. Like they now show battery percentage, and also show the charging speed and all these things. So they're improving. They're making it a little bit more snappy with the new versions coming out. The infotainment is a little bit faster as well, but yeah, it's improving over time. It's not the best, of course. So yeah, that's one thing, but it depends. Like I'm not gonna use my car as my iPad or whatever, right? So it depends on your usage, what you want to do with the car. So for me right now at this point, it is not so important to have the best software like in Tesla, right? So because I'm gonna use my car to commute and to go to different places, to have access to hiking and doing sports and things like that. So yeah, I'm not using my car to watch Netflix or whatever, right? So and play games and whatever. So it's fine as long as it's usable, right? So and it's becoming usable. The software actually it is usable. But the more important problem is they don't have any one pedal driving functionality, and auto hold was also not supported. But now I hear new cars are with auto hold, and one pedal driving is still not supported. So that's one of the things that I will have to get used to. So in terms of the brake pedals, they designed it more like the traditional cars, because they want to bring the gasoline car users, drivers to electric cars. So that was the idea, but let's see if there is any update on that. The other thing is about charging. Of course, charging network is a big problem for Volkswagen. Obviously, Tesla has the best charging network everywhere, actually all around the world. In Europe, it's excellent, the charging network from Tesla. But Volkswagen's charging network is the Ionity charging network, and it is not up to the Tesla level. So it grew quite a lot in the last 3 or 4 years, and the prices are good, but the number of chargers are not so many, and also in these charging locations there are not too many units. So you often run into the situation that you have charging queues. And these days, since Ionity is a public charging network, you also have like many other brands of cars, not just the Ionity companies, Ionity partners, but all other brands of cars, and they have a very good offer, pricing offer, that's called Ionity Passport, which makes the price is very, very low. And people now just try to charge at Ionity chargers. Therefore, there is a lot of pressure on Ionity, and you don't get often spots there, so you have to queue up. So this is one of the problems, but over the years it should improve. So it is important to have access to the Tesla charging network. Why do I say that? Because Tesla is opening up their charging network in Germany. And one of the issues with the Tesla charging network is that the cable is very short, so you need to have your charging port on the left side, just like the Tesla cars. Therefore, it is a problem when you drive into the charging spot with the Volkswagen car, because the charging port is on the other side. So yeah, so until the Ionity charging network gets better, it's a problem that Volkswagen cars have their charging port on the right side. So yeah, it all depends on how the charging network develops and whether actually Tesla wants to retrofit their chargers with longer cables, because this is going to be one of the revenues, one of the revenue streams for Tesla. The sentiment that I have about Tesla cars, it's just not just me, it's a lot of people, I guess. So I'm not so sure what is going on with in terms of the product itself, the Tesla car that made the company popular. So at least in my view, it is not really going very well right now. So maybe the charging network is the other revenue stream for Tesla. Yeah, so charging is still not the strong point for Volkswagen cars. And the app, Tesla app, is obviously very good. So it's very fast, and you have all the features that relates to climate control and Sentry mode and whatnot, you know. So you can use your app for that. But Volkswagen's app is not so advanced, and it's very slow. So even running the heater takes quite a long time just for this command to actually be realized. The other thing is the lack of clarity about how the battery preconditioning work, but I think this is a software issue, so Volkswagen has improved it as far as I know, but it is not clear what they have improved. So it is about like when you are in a trip, if you plan the trip in your navigation system, the battery should precondition, warm up, but Volkswagen cars, they always try to keep their battery to a specific temperature. So I don't know how it works. Yeah, so maybe they can explain if I talk to them. Yeah, so if I talk to a dealer, I mean, so these are some of the negatives, and yeah, I mean, I don't see the negatives of ID.4, at least in the German market, very like unreasonable, very bad or very strong negatives or something. The positives are very good for me right now. Yeah, so I'm heavily leaning towards an ID.4. Yeah, I charged to 99%, but you know what? I don't want to keep my car at 99%. So what I will do is I will keep driving for a little bit, and then on the way I will stop at a supermarket to do some shopping. Yeah, so let's get going. The weather is still like what it was before. It is a little bit windy and a little bit snowy. There is no sun obviously, but yeah, that's how it is. Yeah, so let's get going. All right, I am in Munich. I arrived here with 55% and just plugged in at a supercharger. Yeah, so more annoying things. What can I say? The autopilot did not work at all. So the weather here in Munich and in Bavaria is not like extreme weather. And Tesla autopilot is not even working in this kind of weather. I guess you saw my Norway, or if you saw my Norway videos, if you did not, just see them, and there it was not working at all, the driving assistant functions. But let me show you what I'm talking about. Okay, let's get out of the car. Okay, there is a lot of snow. Okay, so yeah, so what happens is that this thing is frozen, as you can see here, you know. So the radar doesn't work, right? So they need to actually put some heating units here, and then it is cleared up. But their solution is to use the camera-based system. The cameras are here, right? And you also have these cameras here, right? And some there, right? So, but what happens is that every time the weather is just okay, let me just get inside the car. Okay, so every time the weather is just a little bit like this, it will say, okay, the camera blocked. Okay, this camera blocked, that camera blocked. So yeah, I don't know. And Tesla is talking about the cars driving themselves, right? So yeah, full self-driving. So people have figured out how to solve these problems. Just put some heating units in those sensors and whatever, you know. So that's the other thing with Tesla, right? So people are still driving these cars. So you need to make sure, Tesla, please. I'm pretty sure that you're not listening to me, but I'm a small YouTuber, but yeah, so we are still driving the cars, right? We are passengers, we are customers, and we are paying for these cars, these features, and they don't work. So yeah, that's the problem. And these features are just basic features. Another example, so about cleaning up the windshield. So the automatic rain sensor, automatic windshield wipers don't work in Tesla at all. And this is just a basic functionality, and they need it in order for them to move to the autopilot that will be camera based, because it will clean the screen. In order to keep the camera functioning, it will have to clean the screen, and if you cannot guarantee that the screen is cleaned all the time, then how can you guarantee that your car is driving yourself, you know? So this is just nonsense, you know. from Tesla. And the other thing that they're doing with the new cars is that for example, in Model S, they had the yoke. I don't want to drive with a yoke, right? So this is not a video game I'm playing. I'm driving on the roads, and it is a matter of my safety, the matter of the safety of the other road users, right? So I want to drive something that I am comfortable with, and I'm not comfortable with a yoke. And this I don't know, video game console kind of stuff, I'm not doing that, right? So what are they doing? They are releasing with these kind of round shaped steering wheels now in Europe, possibly also in the US, but they moved the stocks, so there will be no stocks, and you have now buttons for your turn signals, right? So what happens when you try to turn and your steering wheel is like this, 90 degree or whatever, then you have to sorry, I'm losing my patience with Tesla. Then you have to actually, in this position, you have to figure out which button to click for going left or right, and your left right buttons are completely messed up in a different situation. So I don't know what's the point of that. Right? So is it the point that they don't care about human users anymore, but the human users are actually buying the cars, and they're building cars for some sort of software that they see that they will develop who knows when, like in 20 years, and they are already annoying the current user base as much as possible with whatever experiments that they want to do. So that's really not acceptable, right? So therefore, for me, it is not a matured company. It is not a matured product. I don't want to be part of these kind of experimentations, right? So I will get rid of my Tesla. And now it's just a matter of deciding which car actually would be suitable for me. And yeah, then the charging network, I'll probably use the Tesla charging network as long as they keep them open for other cars. But for sure, this kind of annoyance with the features of Tesla cars, especially what they do on a random basis, is at a different level now. So yeah, they have crossed the limits. So I have many other options where, you know, where the cars are much more grounded, and they are addressing the customers. They're actually releasing things that the customers want. So in Volkswagen, for example, you have heated sensors. You have traditional rain sensors, they always work. It's just nothing new. It has been there for like 15-20 years, right? So yeah, so they are mature technologies, they are stable technologies, so I'm gonna move towards them. I don't have time for all these nonsense from Tesla. Yeah, so anyway, so there is a lot of complaints today about Tesla cars, but maybe I should do an anger management course or whatever. But that's how the situation has turned out right now. I mean, the technology is great, but how can you not annoy the users of the technology? That's the question for Tesla right now, you know. So unless Tesla figures that out, yeah, they're going to lose more and more customers. Yes. Yeah, so I'm gonna go and do some shopping right now that I was supposed to do, and then yeah, go home. So in the next video I will try to talk about the other cars. So I talked about ID.4 today, and in the next one I might talk about what was the car? Volvo XC40. Yeah, so yeah, maybe I also try to focus a little bit on the safety features in the next video. For example, the NCAP test scores, I didn't have them with me today because I'm doing a lot of things and just talking at some point. Yeah, but next time I will be prepared, more prepared about those NCAP scores and stuff like that. Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you enjoy this kind of open raw opinions. And yeah, I'll try to cover all the other cars that I'm considering. Yeah, so until then, yeah.